Hey, I'm Tom from Mystery Game Fight Club, and this is Replay Value, where I shine a spotlight on games that are either worth playing or replaying, no matter their age. There isn't always time for big open worlds or continent-sweeping adventures. Myself, I'm married, I have a full-time job, I help run live gaming tournaments, and oh yeah, I make content for YouTube on occasions. When it comes to gaming, sometimes all I can do is take in a bite-sized experience. Something to get away for just a little while before I head back to the grind. Roguelites are a great way to get in, do something quick, and then get back out. Brief randomized stages, a variety of weapons and abilities to experiment with, and most importantly, permadeath, are all hallmarks of this genre of game. A single completed run for most titles usually doesn't take more than, say, 90 minutes or so. The genre has exploded over the years, and while quality varies greatly across the spectrum, there's a lot of great stuff out there. So much, in fact, I can't possibly cover all of the bases I'd like to in a single video. What follows are just a handful of games I'm known to revisit whenever I need a fix. Okay, so this one is maybe a little bit light on the roguelite, but what's here expands on the classic Double Dragon formula to create a friendly, fresh new way to play. Our heroes are tasked with once again cleaning up the city and its gangs, and you can select 2 of the game's 4 starting playable characters, which includes Billy, Jimmy, Marion, and Uncle Martin, who is head of the dojo. Billy and Jimmy play pretty similarly, and Uncle Martin represents the heavy of the 4. Meanwhile, Marion just straight up brings a handgun to a fist fight. You can swap between these characters' tag style, so long as your special gauge is full. Speaking of, specials are an important part of gameplay, as it's the primary way to get recovery items and more cash for mid-run upgrades. You do this by performing crowd control specials, which involves defeating 3 or more enemies at a time. 3 is the minimum for a crowd control bonus, maxing out at 5, even though more are possible sometimes. If your health is at maximum, picking up a recovery item becomes cash. This really makes you stop and think for a moment how you want to approach each enemy encounter. Do you want to get rid of the more dangerous enemies right away? Or should you risk trying to corral everyone on the same side of the screen for a bigger crowd control bonus? Should I grab the food now for some cash? Or wait and see if I take damage during this next fight? There are 4 main stages, each with a fixed length, though you can choose them in any order. The first stage you choose will have 1 segment, the second will have 2, and so on. As you clear each stage, the subsequent stages are longer and more dangerous. This also means more dangerous enemy types will be more common, so as you gain familiarity with the game, you'll have to think about which enemies give you the most trouble and clear those stages first. In between stage segments, you can buy passive upgrades for your characters that are offered at random. None of them are especially game-changing, so you'll just have to tailor them to your playstyle. I would say Double Dragon Gaiden is a good entry point for someone that may not have played a lot of roguelites, or simply doesn't care for them very much. There's not a lot in the way of randomness, but there is plenty of challenge and beat-em-up goodness to keep a person busy for a while. It may not have the kind of limitless variety of other entries in this list, but it's still worthwhile to just pick up and play. There are a lot of roguelites that have a top-down or isometric perspective. But Synthetic changes things up by taking a more tactical approach to gameplay. You may be tempted to run in guns blazing, and while there are builds that support that mode of play, more often than not, you'll be rewarded for precision aiming and carefully crafting a solution to your problems. Synthetic 1 and 2 are very similar to each other, so you would be safe to choose either one or both. They each feature a number of classes with unique abilities, starting weapons, and passives. If doing things quiet is your thing, you can choose the Assassin or Sniper. If you want to go in loud, the Demolisher or Breacher classes might be for you. Even if you gravitate towards some of these classes more than others, you will never run out of ways to play the game. And that's likely where you'll get the most enjoyment out of Synthetic. The stages themselves aren't actually much to write home about. Enemies, though plentiful, are not especially intelligent. The level layouts consist of some variation of shipping crates, concrete walls, and other bland industrial landscapes. There are boss encounters, but few of them are all that interesting, and some are downright infuriating if you have the wrong gear. However, the absolutely huge amount of weapons, items, and abilities you will eventually encounter and experiment with can more than make up for these shortcomings. Speaking of those weapons, a prominent feature of Synthetic is that you must reload your weapons manually, by first ejecting the magazine and then loading a new one. This takes a bit of getting used to, but after you feel the flow of the game, you hardly notice. All of this adds up to be a bit of a learning curve you have to climb to avoid getting steamrolled in the first level or two. But once you learn to slow down, be methodical, and weave your way around cover, Synthetic starts to make sense, and it's an experience few roguelites can offer. Now, if you really want to get in for some frenetic fun, RoboQuest is a first-person shooter that has undergone a lot of polish since its early days. This is a great example where a developer and its players come together to brainstorm ideas and is not afraid to completely wash out systems that weren't working. I've lost track of how often things change, sometimes dramatically, in order to craft a better, more balanced game. RoboQuest might be more familiar to those of you who favor arena shooters, as movement options and high-speed action take center stage. You can even balk enemies by jumping on their heads to get around if you have to. Rails are a common feature to grind on as you use them to get away or rain death from above. Assuming everything hasn't changed again by the time this video goes out, there are a ton of unlockables to go after, which includes additional classes, universal passives, and minor puzzles that unlock new biomes. Those biomes mostly consist of dusty and rocky environments, but some later areas are a bit more colorful. Chasing these unlocks adds a little bit of spice to an otherwise linear path through the game, not to mention more builds to explore. As far as enemies go, the variety is fair enough, I guess. Most of them just stand and shoot with the occasional turret or melee enemy. Each biome has at least 2 possible bosses that can show up, and they're all different enough to provide a unique challenge. Weapons are fun to play with, though it probably won't take you very long to find your favorites. You have precision weapons like crossbows and snipers, common ballistic weapons like SMGs and shotguns, with explosives and energy-based weapons rounding out the field. To prevent you from hanging on to one of them for too long, you must either upgrade your existing weapons or find a better one if you hope to clear the run. There are also rarities to consider, which may come with extra passive bonuses. RoboQuest has a lot going for it, and the many rounds of adjustments and tuning really show in the final product. If you are looking for an FPS roguelite that's fast and fun, look no further. Roguelites have this tendency to be high stakes, or high stress experiences. After all, you only get one shot at it, right? But like, what if you just wanted to chill inside a randomly generated environment? Well, then the ToeJam and Earl franchise is for you. I'm purposely ignoring the third one though. That one's not very good. The objectives and playstyle differ greatly from one game to the next, but one constant is that these games are based around leisurely exploration. There's no real hurry to get it done. Just take in the grooves and hang out with the locals. The first game in its remake, Back in the Groove, tasks players with finding pieces of ToeJam and Earl's ship after crash landing on Earth. Strewn about the map are several power-ups in the form of gift-wrapped presents. Not all of them are beneficial, though. High tops can give you super speed, where rain clouds can strike you with thunderbolts. On each level, you must avoid the Earthlings as they chase our heroes around the map if they get too close. Whether or not you find a ship piece, simply ride the elevator up to the next level after you're done exploring. When all the ship pieces have been found, that's the end of the run. Panic on Funkatron turns the perspective on its side and reverses the gameplay mechanics. Instead of running away from the Earthlings, they have invaded your home world, where you must now capture them inside of jars. It's something of a game of hide and seek, since in order to find the Earthlings, you'll have to shake down trees, rummage through bushes, or even shoot them out of the air. When all the Earthlings have been found, you move on to the next level. One thing that cannot be overlooked is the fact that this series can be played cooperatively. Yes, Back in the Groove can be played over the internet, but you should really try to get in the same room together. After all, what could be better than grabbing your best homie, playing a chill game together, and then just be like, "Hey man, it's good to see you. How you been? Yo, what's with this dude lawn mowing in the snow?" Well, whatever. Bye. What is this about? Wait, he's calling me a doofus. I mean, yeah, but... Oh god, oh god, oh god, get away from me. No, wait, you can fall off to the floor below? No. Oh, yo, check it out, pizza. I'm kinda hungry, actually. You wanna order some pizza? Let's order some pizza. Yo, hey, can I get a large supreme, a pepperoni, and a cheese? But like, I want all the different kind of cheeses you got on this pizza, you heard? Nice. Oh, and let me get 2 double orders of breadsticks, because that's like 3 regular orders of breadsticks, right? Anything else? Nah. Wait. Nah, I'm good. So it's gonna be about 45 minutes. Dude, you're the best. Hey, yo, pizza's in 45 minutes. I absolutely love older Metroid games, and especially Super Metroid. The focus on exploration and backtracking with new abilities would help cement it as a classic. Some people have played these games so much that they use randomizers to shuffle the placement of items, keeping the playthroughs somewhat fresh. This mindset is what fuels a robot named Fight. It's a Metroidvania that randomizes nearly everything. For example, let's take an obstacle as simple as a high wall. In Metroid, you might need the high jump boots, but in a robot named Fight, several items can do the same job. Only one of them will spawn in a given run, but maybe you do get the high jump boots. Or maybe it's a double jump. Or even a Rush Coil-inspired robot dog called Up Dog. Wait. What's Up Dog? Every obstacle in the game is like this. Dark rooms can be lit up with the bright shell, an armor that glows, an orb that shines, or a gun that sprays luminescent goo on the floors and walls. Even the biomes themselves are randomized. There are always 4 in a run, but each of these biomes can be swapped out with an alternate. Consequently, this means that the bosses of each area will also be different. Scattered around are shops that can sell you passive abilities or new weapons. You can also trade materials for items at shrines to the machine gods, find teleporters that move you around the map, or the odd resurrection chamber that gives you one more try. Over the years, this game has received a ton of updates, to the point it is now full to bursting with content. Development has finally stopped, but what's here is a complete title from top to bottom that is incredibly satisfying to play, and replay, and replay, and play some more. So there it is, just a few games, just a taste of what the roguelite genre has to offer. Now, like I said earlier, I can't possibly get to all the good ones. There's too many. But these are just a few titles that I gravitate towards when I'm looking to get into something, relatively quickly. Hopefully I mentioned 1 or 2 that you haven't tried yet. I'm also looking forward to hearing about your own favorites. Maybe we can compare notes. But for now, I've been Tom from Mystery Game Fight Club, and I'll see you next time. Toodles.